Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Sorry I'm not there today. Before I forget, retakes for that mini chapter test. I was going to do those after school today, but there's no way that I can fit that in. I'll do it tomorrow after school, and if that doesn't work for you, then we'll just make arrangements personally. So just let me know tomorrow. Go ahead and take your notes out. This section is section 7.4, and we're going to spend 2 days on it. So this is day 1, and it's all about a certain kind of form called point-slope form. So take your notes out. Okay, so this is for 7, point-slope form day 1. So you've got one target, but 3 different entries into that target. So you're going to learn how to write an equation in point-slope form. And you're going to learn how to write it from being given the slope and the y-intercept. You're going to learn to write it from slope and any point on the line, and then also from just given 2 points. So go ahead and pause this and write this down. Here's the point-slope form. So point-slope form is a form where you take one of the points and the slope, duh, that's why it's called point-slope form, and you put it into this form here in the yellow box. So the form is y minus y equals m times the quantity x minus x. And the purple x and y are actual points. So those are where you're going to put numbers in. And the m is the actual slope. So that's where you're going to put numbers in. So like if I had an equation in point-slope form, this is what it might look like with numbers in it. It would be like y minus 7 equals 1/3 x minus 2. So that form right there, or that equation right there, would be from a line that has a slope of 1/3, and it runs through the point 2, 7. So if I graphed it, it would be over 2 and up 7, and that would be the point. And then to make all the rest of the points and draw the line, I would go up 1/3, up 1/3, up 1/3. So that's what it might look like. So the point-slope form will always be in this form. It will always have a y and an x. They'll be on opposite sides. It will always be y minus whatever the y from the point is. So if the point that you're putting in is negative, then that's going to change to y plus whatever, and we'll go through that. So pause this and go ahead and write this part down, and you might want to write the point-slope form on the whiteboard so you can keep referring to it. Okay, and example number 1, and I'll box it just for you, Ashley. Example number 1, you might be given, let's say, the point -3, 0, and the slope of 5 halves, or 5/2, 5 halves. My pen won't work. So the directions might be, state this in point-slope form. So I'm going to go ahead and put the form in there. And so you just might want to watch for a second, okay? So the form is y minus y equals m x minus x. You do need to memorize that. So every time you do one of these problems today, I'm going to make you write that down, or you're not getting any points on the worksheet. So you have to write the formula down. I won't make you do it tomorrow. I'm just going to make you do it for 1 day for, let's see, 16 problems. That way it is drilled into your head. Okay, so I'm going to take and erase the y and the x, and I'm going to put that point in that's right here. So I'm going to put a -3 in here, and whoops, and I just put that in the wrong spot. Hold on. The -3 is the x, and the 0 is the y. So I'm going to put a 0 in right here, and I'm going to put a -3 in right here. Then I'm going to go ahead and slide the slope in. So I'm going to erase the m, and I'm going to slide 5 halves in. So this is what it would look like. Y minus 0 equals 5 halves. And this x minus -3 is going to change to x plus 3 because it keeps change. You do not want to have the negative or the double signs. That's not considered simplified. So that's how easy that is. That's point-slope form. point slope form is just a different form. It's the same. You know how we went through slope intercept form? You don't have to write this other part, but listen to this. So if I wanted this in slope intercept form, and let me change to a different color. If the directions were to put it in point, or slope intercept form, sorry. Slope intercept form. I know that that's y equals mx plus b. So I know that I need to get the y by itself. So in order to do that, I'd have to use distributive property to multiply the 5/2 through to get rid of the parentheses. And then I can move the 0 over. I mean, I wouldn't have to because it's 0, but if it was any other number, I'd have to use inverse operations to move it over. So y minus 0 is y. 5/2 is 5/2 x, because it's 5/2 times x. 5/2 times 3 is 15 over 2. So if I graphed this, it would cross the y-axis at 7.5, and I'm just going to fake it up here. And then it would go up 5 over 2, up 5 over 2, up 5 over 2, down 5, back 2, down 5, back 2. And it might look like that, right? If I did the same thing with this equation, it would be the exact same line. So these two equations are equivalent. It's kind of like giving you a 50-cent piece and then giving you 2 quarters. They're the exact same values, but they look different. And so point slope form, it's good for when you're given a point and you're given slope, obviously. Slope intercept form is good anytime you have to graph on a graphing calculator, anytime you're given slope and intercept, anytime you have to graph. This slope intercept is the fastest way to graph. But point slope is also used, and so that's the form we're going to focus on today. So let me give you another example. You can pause this if you need to. So example number 2. Ooh, this is probably driving Ashley nuts because it's not nice and neat. Sorry, my pen doesn't work very good. Example number 2, maybe I'll give you the slope of -4, and I'm going to give you the y-intercept that says y-intercept of -2. Okay, so the directions would be the same. I want you to state it in point slope form. So do you have a point and do you have a slope? Because those are the two things you need for point slope form. It's like duh, it's called point slope, right? So I definitely have a slope, and my slope is right here. The point, it says y-intercept is -2. So how can I write that in an x and y ordered pair point? So if the y-intercept is -2, that means if I have an x and a y, that it's crossing right here down 2. So that would be where x is 0 and y is -2. So there's my point, 0, -2. So now I'm going to go ahead and put it into point slope form. So again, you need to write it, y minus y, and if you repeat it in your head, you're going to get it faster. Y minus y equals m times the quantity x minus x. So now I'm going to fill it in. So I have y minus my y-intercept. This is my x and this is my y. So my y is -2. So it's going to turn to a +2. So I'm just going to go ahead and put +2. Make sure you're okay with me skipping that step. So it was subtracting a -2, which ends up being adding 2. Equals my slope times x minus the x value of the point that I was given, which was 0. Done. Okay, so you might want to pause it and ask questions or talk for a second. I'm going to go on to example 3. Okay, example 3. Maybe I'm going to give you the slope of 0 and the point 4. Sorry, something happened to the screen there. The point 4, 2. So again, I'm going to write y minus y equals x, or m, sorry, m x minus x, and I'm going to fill it in. So y minus, remember this is my x, and this is my, I can't write that high, just a second. Oof. Okay, this point, I'm going to write it over here because my pen is not cooperating. This is my x and this is my y. So I have y minus 2 equals, the slope is 0, and x minus 4. What does slope of 0 look like? Keep that in your head. Is that a horizontal line or a vertical line? Okay, that's different than the slope being undefined. And then that would be the form that you put it in. What happens if you do have one where the slope is undefined? So example 4, maybe the slope is undefined or no slope, whatever you want to call it, and maybe the point is 7, negative 2. Nope, wait, no slope. Let me think about this. No slope. The point would be, it would only have an x. So maybe it would be 7, 0. So now we've got y minus y equals x minus x. And I already know that a no-slope line is a vertical line, and if the intercept is 7, wherever 7 is, it would be like this. And we already talked about what the equation to that is. That's x equals 7, because x will equal 7 no matter what. Okay, so the point might be 7, 2 or 7, 0, but it's always going to be x equals 7. So then I wouldn't need to write it in this form. There'd be no y at all, and there'd be no slope. So then it would just be x minus 7, x equals 7. So I've done given a point, I've done given y-intercept. So what about if you're given 2 points? So I think this is example number 5. If it's not, I'm driving people nuts right now. Example number 5. So what if you're only given, let me find one, 2 points. You're given 4, 8, and then you're given negative 1, negative 12. And that's it. Well, you know you got to put it into point slope form, or point slope form. So you need a point and you need slope. You have 2 points to choose from, but you don't have any slope. So how are you going to find slope? Well, you already learned previously how to find slope. Slope is y minus y, the difference in the y's, over the difference in the x's. So I can take those 2 points that I was given. Sorry, I keep hitting the pause button. I can write 8 minus negative 12 over 4 minus negative 1. So I would get 8 plus 12 over 4 plus 1. So that's 20 over 5, which is 4 over 1. Okay, so now I've got slope. So now you can use either point. So there's no, there's going to be 2 different answers for these type of problems, and you don't have to do both answers. I will have both versions up there. So let's just begin. What if you chose the first point? If you chose the first point, this is what your answer would look like. Y minus 8 equals 4 times a quantity, x minus 4. If you chose, let me change colors. If you chose this point, your answer will be y minus negative 12 equals 4 minus negative 1. So I would simplify that to y plus 12 equals 4 times x plus 1. So this would be your answer if you use the second point, and this would be your answer if you use the first point. And it doesn't matter, you don't have to do both, you can choose either one. And then tomorrow we'll talk about why are those two different, why do they look so different, are they really the same? Okay, And that's the extent of the notes for today. So then tomorrow we'll learn some different things. But that's it. That's all you should need for the pink worksheet that you're going to have. So I will see you tomorrow.